Hey everyone, my name is Joanne Smith and welcome to Joanne's Corner. In today's tutorial, we're going to be making a tote bag. These bags can be used for craft bags, a Bible bag, just anything you want to stick in there. I made a lot of these for Christmas last year and everybody loved them, so get your sewing machine and your fabric ready and let's get started. Here are all the materials that you're going to need for today's project. I have 2 pieces of outer fabric, 2 pieces of lining, and 2 pieces of fusible fleece or quilt batting that is cut to 15 inches by 17 inches. You'll need 1 piece that's cut for an inside pocket, and the size of this will be 6.5 inches by 10 inches. I also have fabric for the handles or the straps, and those will need to be 25 inches by 4.5 inches. I also have a regular ruler, my cutting ruler. Let's see, I've got my rotary cutter, small scissors, I have an iron, my ironing board's over here, my sewing machine, and I have clips, or you can use pins, whichever you're more comfortable with. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is take one of our outer fabrics and put it on the bumpy side of our fusible fleece. That'll be the side that has the glue on it. And we're going to adhere that to that according to the directions on the package. If you have quilt batting instead of the fusible fleece, just get, I like this, it's 505 temporary adhesive, just a basting spray. You just spray it on there, spray it on your fabric, and it does the same as fusible fleece does. Okay, I have attached my fleece to both pieces of my outside fabric. And what we're going to do now, make sure that your fabric is where it is 15 inches across and the 17 inches is up and down long ways like this. And we're going to cut a 2-inch space out of the right corner of the bottom and out of the left corner of the bottom. Okay, I have my ruler here and we're going to do 2 inches. So I've got this clear ruler where I can see exactly where I'm doing, and I need to get right here where this 2 is, right here, and that'll be 2 inches this way and this way. And you can take a pen if you want. I have a disappearing ink pen here, and just mark that out on both sides, and then we're just going to cut those out. Now we have both of our bottoms in the corners cut out, and we're going to put our bags, the fronts together, right sides together, and we're going to clip them, and we're going to sew down to here, and we're going to sew all the way across through here and all the way up the other side using a 1/4 inch seam. Just make sure your edges are lined up. And just pin it all the way around, and then we'll sew it. Okay, we have stitched along both sides and across the bottom. Now we're going to box the corners, and we just need to line up these seams and clip them or pin them, and then we're going to run a 1/4 inch seam right across through here, and we're going to do that to both ends. I have sewed both of my corners, and now we're going to turn our bag right side out and just poke out our corners down here at the bottom. See our corners? For my handles, I have these 2 longer pieces of fabric, and I had to cut 2 smaller pieces of fabric to join to these longer ones so I would have it long enough for my straps. They're 25 inches by 4.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is put these right sides together and just join these with a 1/4 inch seam. We're going to take one of our pieces and fold it over in half, and we're going to press that. Then we're going to open it up, and we're going to fold each side in toward the middle crease there in the middle, and we're going to press that. And once we get that pressed all the way down through there, then we are going to fold it once more and press it. So it should look like that. And we're going to run a 1/8 of an inch stitch down this side and one on that side. Now we're going to attach our straps to our bag, and these we want about 3 inches over from the side seam on each side. So about right there is where we want the side of our handle, and just clip that or pin that in place and make sure it doesn't twist. And this one we need the same, 3 inches in, about right there, and just clip that, and then just flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing to this side. And you don't have to measure this one if you don't want to, just put it straight across from that one. Just make sure it's lined up and it's at the edge of your bag. Make sure it's not twisted. And make sure that's lined up with your other strap on the other side. And what we're going to do now is take this to our sewing machine, and we're just going to sew where the handles are on both sides. So we'll have 4 places where we sew, but we're not going to sew around the edge of our bag yet, just the places where the handles are. And you might want to go across it 2 or 3 times. That way it will make it more sturdy. We're going to work on our pocket. So we need 1 piece of our lining fabric and a piece of our pocket. Make sure that this is turned the right way, because if you have it long ways like this, where the 17 inches is going across, it won't fit up with your bag. So you need to turn it this way. Before we can put our pocket onto our piece of fabric, we need to fold it in about 1/4 of an inch on all sides, and then we're going to take it to our sewing machine and just sew all the way around it. This is kind of tricky too, but make sure that when you sew that your corners are tucked in and that they don't hang out like that when you're sewing it and sticking out like that or something. Just make sure that they're tucked in nice and neat when you're sewing. Okay, we have our pocket stitched, and we're going to place it on one of our pieces of our lining, and we want it to be 4 inches down from the top. So that's almost right. About 4 inches down. And we want it about 2 3/4 inches from each side. Let's move it over a little. There we go. If it's not perfect, that's all right, but we need to get it as close as we can. And don't pin it on the top. Pin it on the sides and leave the top open. And we are going to sew 1/4 of an inch seam down both sides and across the bottom, and leave this open because that'll be our pocket top. Now we have our pocket sewed, and what we're going to do is go to the middle of our pocket. If you want to fold your piece of lining and just get the center mark, open it back up, and then just sew right down through there. Now we have 2 cute little pockets. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take our other lining piece, and you can put it with this or you can do it separate, but we need to cut out our corners again, our 2-inch corners on our lining pieces. So just do that to the bottom 2 corners. After you get your fabric lined up, we're going to make a 2-inch cut here and a 2-inch cut here. When you sew both of your lining fabrics together, when you put them face together and sew down both sides and sew across the bottom, leave open at the very bottom. Leave open about 5 inches at the bottom so we can turn our bag when we get finished. And now we're going to box our bottoms of our lining just like we did on our outer part of the bag. And you just need to line your seams. I finger pressed my seams, so they're not wanting to stay open too good. But just line up your seams and then either pin it or quilt it. And we're going to do both corners and take it over to our machine and sew about 1/4 inch across through there. Take the outside of our bag and we're going to fold it like this, and we're going to stick it down inside of our lining. We need to line up the side seam of the outer part of the bag with the lining. Make sure your handles are out of the way and where they're supposed to be. We're going to line up our ends here, and we're going to clip around all the edge, and we're going to run a stitch around the top all the way around. And when you get to the parts that have your handles, just go slow over them because they're going through a lot of fabric. But we'll just run like a 1/4 inch. If you want to do a 1/2 inch, you can do that. Okay, you should have a stitch all the way around the top. And we're going to go to the bottom of our bag where our hole is, and we're going to reach in and pull our bag through and turn it. All right, next thing we're going to do is close up our hole at the bottom of our bag. And if you see, it's wanting to go together naturally pretty much as far as the fold goes. But just turn the fabric down, and you can finger press this or you can press it with your iron. And we're just going to run about 1/8 of an inch stitch across through there to close it up. Okay, I've sewed my bag together. And make sure that you pull it in the opposite direction to make sure there's no holes. Then we're going to stuff this back down into our bag. Get a hold of it and pull it in toward the inside of the bag till it looks like this. And we're going to pin it or clip it. Go all the way around it and do that where the top isn't showing. And be sure to have your handles out of the way so we can sew right through here. And we're just going to do a top stitch all the way around. You can do a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, whichever one you want. And that's how you make a tote bag. Y'all, look how cute! We got our nice little pocket down in here, and it's really deep down in there, if y'all can see. You can use this for anything, any project that you want to do. If you want to take it to church on Sunday and put your Bible and notebooks and pens and stuff, or just a toy tote for the kids or whatever. I mean, these bags are very versatile. If you want to put a bag pocket on the outside of the bag, you can do that. If you want to make this different sizes even, you can do that. If you've liked this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you soon.